What is up, everybody? This is Mocha Geckos, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my 2019 reptile room. So I think the last time that I did a reptile room video was back in 2016, maybe 2017, so needless to say it's been a really long time. Many things have changed, especially the setups have changed, and I've gotten a couple new additions since the last video. And since my audience has grown so much since my last reptile room video, I thought it would make perfect sense to show all of you newcomers and all you returning subscribers my reptile room once again. Guys, how this video is going to be structured is I'm going to show a clip of each individual pet and give a little background information and give you guys some close-ups so you guys can really see how pretty my animals are. And then I'll put them back into their cage, and while I'm doing that I will show you their terrarium setup. So guys, what I think would make the most practical sense if I were to start with Ralph the bearded dragon right behind me. Guys, is Ralph my bearded dragon. He's maybe the best pet out of all of my reptiles. Not to show favoritism or anything, but he is definitely the chillest, most dog-like pet that I own. I've had Ralph for just under 2 years. I believe in a few days will be the kind of the anniversary or the day that I picked him up. As you can see, he's super chill, super calm. He really doesn't have a care in the world when I'm holding him. I just set him on my shoulder when I'm doing homework or just chilling out in my room. No big deal whatsoever. He's just an awesome pet. Eating really well lately. He can really down some crickets, so I had to change to giving him dried insects just for a practicality standpoint, so I didn't spend excessive amounts of money on buying him live insects every week. His favorite plant foods, without a doubt, are squash and collard greens. He also likes grapes, but I don't like to give that to him too often because it's sugary and unhealthy. Only people are allowed to eat sugary and unhealthy things all the time, not bearded dragons. I'm going to go ahead and set Ralph back in his terrarium, and I'll give you guys a little overlook of what his cage is looking like. So I've got Ralph in a 40-gallon tank right here. It's just your standard 40-gallon tank. I didn't think it would be very practical to give him a naturalistic setup like all my other animals because he would just tear it up so quickly, and it is a desert, and those are kind of not as attractive terrariums in my opinion once you set them up in comparison to a tropical tank. I've got him outfitted with multiple basking spots. The one that's highest up right here is a hammock, a log in the background, and 2 caves. This is just a recent idea of mine to put both of these caves in here because I was only using one, so I thought I might as well just put 2 of them in there just to give him some more decor and give him something else to climb on. I mentioned a second ago I've just been giving him these dried insects as a supplement or as the primary source of protein because it kind of got impractical giving him so many crickets. So I just keep those in that dish right there, and then I give him his bearded dragon pellets over here, which he seems to have a favorite of the red color for whatever reason. I personally haven't tasted it, so I wouldn't know. And this is going to be his, or it is his veggie dish and fruit dish. I just haven't fed him today, but that's what he gets fed out of. I put it farthest away from the heat so the water and the plants doesn't dry up. And I've got an Exoterra background over here that he likes to climb on sometimes at night, and then this piece of wood that really he doesn't use a lot, but I do use it to kind of lock everything into place to keep this log from rolling over and squishing them. Been using this Solar Glow light bulb for him. It's a UVB and heat lamp combination. Does a really great job. It's sort of pricey, but it's kind of a one-time buy until it burns out, of course, like all light bulbs, but that's what I've been using for the daytime over here. And then to our right I have a ceramic heat emitter that I move over to wherever he is at nighttime to make sure he doesn't get too cold at night. So guys, that is Ralph, my bearded dragon, and just an overall great pet. And if any of you don't already own a bearded dragon, I highly suggest you pick one up because they're basically like dogs. That's just the best way to say it. So next I'm going to be showing you my Lychee Onus gecko, Titan. Alright guys, so right here is my Rhactodactylus Lychee Onus Gecko Titan, who really seems to be a fan favorite, and I think that's in correlation with the resurgence or just the upcoming popularity of Lychee Onus geckos lately. They've really busted into the reptile market and everyone seems to want to get one, and whether or not that's a good decision, I'll leave the link to the video that I made about Lychee Onus geckos to help you guys with that decision. So as you can see, he's quite a beast. He is a Pine Island Lychee Onus gecko. Honestly, a beautiful animal. As you can see, all these pink colorations. Just a really awesome creature to look at. Lots of cool head markings. Just overall beautiful, monstrous animal. He's pushing 400 grams. I haven't weighed him in about 3 weeks, so I need to go ahead and do that. But last time he was pushing 400 grams. He's just a beast. Really good eater. Crickets, Rapashi. So before I put Titan here back, I just thought I'd mention that I've had him for about 4 years now. So he's very close to adult size. They are kind of slow growing animals, but as you can see, they get to monstrous proportions. I have made multiple videos on Titan because everyone really seems to like them, and I can understand why. Really neat, unique animals. So I'll leave the links to those videos in the description. Or Titan here decides to take a nosedive onto the floor. I'm going to set him back up in here, and I'll give you guys a rundown of his beautiful vivarium. Alright guys, so I've got Titan here in an 18 by 18 by 24 Exoterra tall tank. This is probably my most proud setup that I've made. It was pretty complex and I've had a couple of issues with it and it's changed over the years. But all in all, it stayed quite beautiful. I still really enjoy looking at it. I've got cork bark, clay, great stuff foam, sansevieras, and this pink plant that I still don't know the name of. I know I say that every time, but it keeps evading me to look it up. Titan here spends the majority of his time in this cork hollow right here that when I built the terrarium I did not intend for him to be able to get into, but he can, so that's okay. I did intend primarily for him to use this back hollow, but he actually rarely uses that, so it's almost like wasted space, and he much rather prefers this cork tube right here. Every single time I walk in my door, he's usually sitting in this tube right here, and he'll jump out and smack his face against the glass and hiss at me because he's kind of a jerk. But that's just Titan. You can see he's pondering a good way to eat me right now. Alright guys, so that is Titan, my Lychee Onus gecko. So now that I managed to get Titan back in his enclosure, I'm going to show off Frito the crested gecko. So guys, right here, not very fired up right now, so not looking as pretty as usual, is Frito, my crested gecko. Something neat's kind of going on with her right now. As you can see, the right side of her body is kind of more grayscale than the other side. That's because she was just under a leaf on one side of her body, so one side of her body was a different side from the other, which I think is really unique. It almost looks like she's just firing up on her left side. Frito's a really cute animal. She's a good eater. Never has taken to insects very well, although I've tried many times. Every once in a while I can get her to kind of velociraptor mode and get her to eat one, but that's kind of a rare occurrence. Really awesome pet, very unique texture to crested geckos for those of you who own them, or those of you who don't. That is what they feel like, kind of a velvety texture. Never had any real health problems or temperament problems from Frito. She's just a really awesome pet. Crested geckos make wonderful reptile pets for a person of any skill level. So I'm going to go ahead and set Frito back up in here. She's probably going to crawl into that cork tube, which she surprisingly enough doesn't spend too much time in. She prefers actually getting on the underside of it or hiding herself in this Sanseviera plant. I've got her currently in a 12 by 12 by 20 kind of acrylic terrarium. I was having a real issue with humidity buildup in here, so I decided to drill a bunch of holes in the top, and that really seemed to alleviate the issue, keeping in mind how often I spray her. It does a really good job at keeping her from getting too much humidity and developing a type of respiratory infection or anything of the sort. In her cage I've got a clay background with some moss, pothos, Sanseviera. I had some ivy in there, but it sort of died. I don't really know what happened to it because it was doing so well for so long, but no big deal. Pretty beautiful terrarium, nothing too fancy. Drainage layer, of course, covered up with this duct tape. And then I found that she prefers to eat kind of close to the ground, and also accompanied with the fact that this suction cup really sucks. I don't want her falling from too high, so I set this thing real close to the ground. It seems to do the trick. So taking a quick intermission from the lineup of pets, I thought I'd show you this terrarium right here that I just kind of set up for fun. It's just a little bioactive vivarium where I grow a lot of my springtails. As you can see down in there, a bunch of them chilling out. Pretty neat. If I ever do plant cuttings from any of my other terrariums, I just throw it in here and just kind of let it cycle through. It's a beautiful little environment, but I don't have any animals in it. Just thought it would be worth showing you guys. So I went ahead and put up Frito. I hope you guys enjoyed her. She's just a really cool animal. Right here up next, I've got Comet, my Gargoyle Gecko. So Comet right here I've had for several years now. I got her pretty close to after I got Frito because I kind of went through the whole Rectidactylus phase or New Caledonian Gecko phase because all those geckos from that region or that island chain are just really neat. Right here she has a red stripe down her. She's a red stripe variety. I'm not well versed in morphs, but that is the morph she is. Just a beautiful animal regardless of her red coloration. Personal favorite feature right here is the yellow ring around their eyes. The Lychee Onus has that too. Comet is egg-bound, meaning she lays infertile eggs quite often, so I do have to accommodate her setup and her diet with extra calcium and extra laying space just to ensure that she's comfortable and can live a good life regardless of having that deficiency. Guys, so let's go ahead and set her back in there, let her jump away in there. I actually did do a video on this setup, which I'll also leave a link to in the description. Make sure to go check that out. It's pretty dope. So Comet, I've always noticed, prefers to eat off the ground as opposed to eating out of a ledge. Never had much luck getting her to eat out of a ledge. So I've got her feeding on the ground right here in a little bit of open space. And for her to lay her eggs, and it's already worked a couple times, I've got this cork flat running in a diagonal against the glass into the ground with a bunch of excess dirt. As you can see, it's much higher here than anywhere else, just to act as a laying area, just to accommodate for her egg laying issue. So here in Comet's cage, I've got a Sansevieria and monkey grass and one little baby Sansevieria right there. Just a bunch of cork flats and a bunch of vines that she really seems to enjoy. She spends the most of her time, however, in this Sansevieria hanging vertically. And this is a 12 by 12 by 18 Exoterra tank, and it seems to do the trick. So guys, the next animal is my newest addition, although I've had him for a decent amount of time. Right here I have Jerry, the banana ball python. So as you can see from his glassy eyeballs, Jerry is on the cusp of beginning to shed, so not nearly as beautiful as he usually is, but truly a magnificent animal. Amazing purples, oranges, and yellow hues on his body with all these black spots on him. Most of these right now are eco-earth, but the ones that are actually a part of his body are the reason he's called a banana ball python from what I understand. Because, you know, when bananas get older, they start to develop black spots, much like Jerry here has developed. Jerry's an ultra calm snake. I can only count maybe 2 or 3 instances where he's hissed at me, and none of them were hyper-aggressive hisses, just kind of a warning sign that I had made a mistake in handling him. But all in all, a beautiful, great pet. And I believe ball pythons are really misunderstood, and people don't understand how great of pets they are. They're just ultra calm and are rarely aggressive. Very much like Ralph, just makes an excellent pet just to get out of the terrarium and have chill out with you for a while to keep you company. Just an excellent animal, kind of like a lap dog, but with no legs. So right here, as you've seen most likely in a video in the past, is Jerry's new setup. It's constructed entirely out of pink insulation foam and Quikrete concrete mix. I'm fairly happy with the results. The only issue that I've had with it is because he does a lot of shedding, like he's about to do right now. He uses the textured concrete as a way to use as an abrasion tool to get his skin off, so that does chip off some of the paint, but all I've got to do is just reapply some more of the concrete, and it's really no big deal. I don't have a problem with it. So I'm going to go ahead and set him back down in here. This terrarium consists of 3 different hides, all with removable lids, so I don't have to reach my hand into a dark space with a snake, which everyone should innately know is not a good choice. I'll go ahead and show you guys how those work. This first hide right here is right over his heat pad, and I simply just grab this one little stone right here, lift it up, and I can reach in there and pick him out when he's chilling out over his heat pad. And I designed all of these little nooks and crannies to be relatively tight because, as we know, snakes kind of like to feel cramped. It makes them feel more secure. Here is the second hide. It's a little bit smaller, and he does like it quite a bit, even though it doesn't look like it would fit him. And the third and final hide is this biggest cave with a top entrance, which is my favorite, and I'm really proud of myself for making because it looks pretty sick. Is the humid hide, as it is enclosed and will keep the most humidity. As you can see, the dirt in there is very moist, and he'll most likely be using that quite a bit coming up soon. And I'll even stick a log in there to use as an abrasive tool for him to get his shed off. So as you can see, Fatso right here is sliding through. It looks like he's gonna make a transition into the humid hide, or excuse me, the warm side hide over here. He really seems to like it. He exhibits lots of natural behaviors. His eating has been great. I'm very happy with it. It's a really beautiful terrarium. So up next on our list is going to be my African fat-tailed gecko, Mocha. So those of you who've been around with my channel for a long time are pretty familiar with Mocha. Some of my earliest videos consisted of me setting up cages for her. Really excellent pet, very, very calm. She's always been a huge fan of backtracking and walking backwards. I feel like that's a defense mechanism, as she's about to do right now. So it's a little difficult to handle her at times. Mocha lately has been on a crazy streak of eating really, really well. Eating as many crickets as I want to give her in a sitting, and that's just kind of uncharacteristic of her because she's always been the one that's given me trouble eating, but it really makes me glad that she's been eating well lately. I'm going to go ahead and set her back up in her cage. So her setup right here is kind of just altered, not necessarily new. I've noticed with these terrestrial geckos, it's kind of difficult sometimes to make a nice looking vivarium setup that it also supplements the health of the animal. And since you have to have a heat pad, it's difficult to do a drainage layer and a heat pad. If you guys who are familiar with setting up cages, you kind of can understand the conundrum there. So something that I like to do is make borders and small drainage layer sections, as I've done on the far right side over here. What this is going to do is raise humidity, give her something to drink water off of, and just make the overall tank look more appealing, while making sure that over here to the left, the temperature stays very well, very appropriate, and she has access to the heat pad, doesn't have to worry about a drainage layer getting in the way, or more importantly, me having to worry about a drainage layer getting in the way. This little piece right here is custom built, once again from the insulation foam. If you would like to see me make an insulation foam piece and then paint it, just to kind of walk you through, guys, how to make something like this, let me know down in the comments. I'll be glad to do a video like that. Mocha spends the majority of her time under this hide right here over top of her heat pad, where I'm keeping her at about 91, 92 degrees, along with Phoenix and Jerry over here. I hate to say it, but we are on to our very last pet. I want to thank all of you guys who have stuck with me throughout this video. And right now, we're going to be looking at Phoenix, the leopard gecko. So Phoenix right here is the one pet that got everything started the obsession. Without Phoenix right here, I would not have all the animals that I've shown previous in this video. I've had him since I was 10. So I've had him for many, many years. He's an excellent pet, always been in great health, pretty persistently a pretty good eater across the board. Never had many health issues or any health issues with him whatsoever. He's just a great pet, and I feel like a lot of people feel the same way about leopard geckos because they usually get everybody started because they're always the first pet recommended. It is just a regular leopard gecko, really no special morph, just the high yellow, I suppose. Really pretty coloration, black spots with yellow undertones, and then the regenerated tail, which I bought him with. That is, whoop, he did a little jump. That's not looking too shabby, if I say so myself. So just a great pet, and really do like him. So I'm going to go ahead and set him back up in his Exoterra. That was graceful. His Exoterra terrarium. I did not mean for that to happen. In this terrarium, I've got Eco Earth as the primary substrate. The reason being because it holds humidity when you need it to, and does not hold humidity when you don't need it to. And that's very important with leopard geckos, as they are a species from a fairly arid region and only need substantial amounts of humidity when shedding. I've got his hot hide over here with the thermostat probe underneath. As you can see, that little shiny piece right back up in there. Got a tube hide right here that he uses every once in a while, a cool hide that I've rarely seen him use whatsoever, and then the old poop rock. As you can see, it's kind of stained. Seems to be the only place where he wants to go to the bathroom, and I'm okay with it because it's very easy to clean. Alright everybody, so that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank every single one of you guys for watching, especially you returning subscribers. You guys are the best. I believe we're over 2,500 now, and it's just an amazing, amazing thing. For those of you who haven't already joined the Country Echoes family, and I feel terrible for you, you need to go ahead and get that done. Go down low, hit that red subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and to all of you subscribers and non-subscribers, hit that like button. It helps me so much. Make sure to drop a comment with a video suggestion because I need all the suggestions I can get. I want to make videos that you guys want to see. As always, guys, this is Country Echoes. I'll see y'all in the next one.